Hello everybody, my name's Quinn, I fix tools, and today we have a Tool King 24.5" hewing axe. I've been restoring tools on and off for the last couple of years, and let me tell you, this one was kind of a diamond hidden in the rough. But I'll tell you what's not so shiny. All this epoxy they put on the top of this axe head. It made it such a pain in the butt to try and get this handle material out of the eye of this axe. It took me like over an hour to get it out. It was horrible. It was also kind of a problem that whoever fitted this handle was actually good at the job. They had that axe snug on that handle. And to be completely honest with you, I probably could have saved this handle, could have restored it and all that, but I was a little worried about when I would start removing the rust that it might stain the wood and make it look kind of shitty. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's probably a skill issue, but I digress. Oh god, just look at it. Oh, it's hideous. Oh, get off the screen. Oh god. Now that we have that old handle off, we can start removing the rust. All I'm doing here is taking a piece of 40 grit sandpaper and some WD-40. It's really as simple as you think. Maybe throw in a steel brush or two if you're feeling a little frisky, but to be honest with you, it's really not required. I'm not even sure if it really did anything. I mostly just got those steel brushes in case I had a piece that was a little bit more rough, had a lot more divots in it where I couldn't really get the rust out with the sandpaper. Luckily, underneath all that patina was a very smooth surface, so the sandpaper really had no trouble cutting through all that rust and grime. Something that's important to remember is that these are old tools. They have seen a lot of use over the years. So whenever I'm removing the rust and stuff, I like to make sure there's no cracks or anything that could affect the tool later on in its life. And while I was scrubbing away at it, I noticed that there was a line going across the face of the blade. What I think that is a high carbon edge and probably some type of mild steel body. All that means that this axe should hold a good edge and hold that edge for longer than maybe a axe you could buy at the store. Other than that though, this axe seems to be in amazing condition. This is probably the nicest axe I've ever found. Now we got all the cleaning done, it's time to smack a handle on this bad boy. I'm not sure how common it is for people to use a knife when fitting up a handle, but personally I prefer it. I find that a grinder ends up removing too much material too quickly and just ends up ruining the whole project. But again, it's probably a skill issue. I also like to use the axe head to help carve away some material just to really get me that nice snug fit that I'm looking for. Then all I have to do is just cut off the pieces the axe head carved off and it's good as new. By the time I get the head fitted up to the handle, it's normally pretty grimy, so I like to just shave off the top layer of that wood just to help that grain pop a little more, especially for when I come in with the linseed oil at the end of this process. I didn't record it, but I normally like to sand it down with some 120 grit sandpaper before I put the linseed oil on. I find that it makes the grain pop a little more and also gives you a firm grip on the handle. I've had some trouble in the past with wedges working their way out of axes while I'm using them, so I always make sure to put a little bit of epoxy on my wedge just to make sure it never comes out again. After you let that sucker sit overnight, don't suck like me and actually cut the entire wedge off instead of leaving an ugly little tab that you have to end up filing by hand. Don't be like me. Here we have the finished product. If you want to find more tools like this, head over to my page on Etsy.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.